to the schools rather than being given to people who are not going to pay.
That's it, yeah.
Well, 60% of school-going children don't pay these fees. So that's an important fact that we might not be aware of. Secondly, we can certainly look at how better we could leverage the child support grant, and we thank the listeners who sent that question for that, and we'll certainly examine the viability of it and see whether that's the right way in which the grant should be spent.
Yeah, so a good suggestion, something you'll look into.
Thank you.
Good, nice suggestion. Thank you very much to the viewers. You know how to send those questions to us. Please continue to do so. Something that did come up yesterday was the issue of retirement reforms. I'm going to bring the DG into the conversation now because I know that you have to go. So let's get this question and let's get a little bit more detail about it. What exactly are those reforms, DG?
Leanne and listeners, the reforms are aimed at encouraging South Africans to save. Save in particular for the time when they leave employment. The current system doesn't serve South Africans too well because in instances where people exit employment before the time of retirement, for some of the funds, people are free to cash everything. So a 40-year-old who has worked for, say, 20 years, gets out of one job, in the meantime takes everything away, and then finds another job and starts again. But that 40-year-old is getting closer to the retirement age. So by the time the person retires, he or she doesn't have enough income to look after him or herself, and therefore becomes dependent on the state. Now, one of the things that we want to encourage South Africans to do is to make sure that what they save for retirement, by and large, remains for retirement. So there must be portability of those savings. Move from one job to the other, but not all of the money is taken out. Now, it's very important to make sure that we find the right balance when we bring about a change like that. Because sometimes people get out of one job, end up in another job, not by choice. So in the meantime, they've got to have a way to live. So the rules will provide for the possibility that a certain portion of the resources can be accessible, so that the people can be able to live when they are changing jobs. Now, more specifically, to encourage savings in the immediate term, there is a bias in terms of the tax regime in favor of setting aside some money for retirement. So those who choose to leave a part of what they earn today, save it for retirement, they get a tax benefit for that, which is very important because what they put aside for savings is tax deductible, which means that before their tax liability is determined, that amount is set aside, so the liability gets reduced. Now, all of these reforms are very important because from a macroeconomic point of view, our country does need a lot of savings. If you want to increase growth to 5% upwards, then you need investment of anything between 25 and 30%. Now, you must make sure, therefore, that the level of savings in the economy is as close as possible to the amount of investment that you need, so that you don't depend entirely from savings from elsewhere in the world. Of course, in the world of globalization, that too has got its place, but at the same time, it has got its disadvantages because it introduces volatility in the currency. Because whenever there is one or some other development that investors feel uncomfortable about, they may run to the door, and when they do that, the currency might weaken, which introduces all manner of dynamics in the economy.
All right, DG, thank you very much. Thanks for your time. I know you have to run, so we'll continue with our remaining panelists. Lots more questions to get through, but let's take a very quick break, and we'll be back after this. Stay tuned.